Krishna, we are saying that it's not our desire to bring other people or to change their faith, like you said just now. But we understand that their process is not pure and that it will take some time, or maybe the direction is wrong. For example, like my understanding when I was studying a little bit Christianity, that from our point of view it's like Apa Sampradaya and Tamaguna, because they're thinking that Jesus is some kind of God. A lot of things are not any more clear what Jesus said.
That's why I said it's a question of knowledge. We're not saying, forget Jesus or don't be Christian or this, that. But knowledge would be helpful. Knowledge is like money. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or Jewish or Hindu or American or Indian or British. Money is money. Nobody looks at them and says, well, wait a second, is this American money? Whatever it is, gold, we'll take it. Nobody's going to ask if, it's Christian gold or Hindu gold. So knowledge is a valuable commodity for anyone. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian. Rather, you'll probably used to say you'll be a better Christian or a better Muslim or whatever it may be. Augmenting your spiritual understanding. It's not a question of faith, just trying to get people off of one faith into another faith. Faith can change. You switch one today, you switch to another tomorrow. It's a question of understanding. It's not a superficial thing. We just, count up points. Well, we got 10 guys to switch from that side to this side. Yeah, well, we got 15 guys to switch from this side. It's not that. We're trying to actually give people something with great depth to it, by which they can more deeply understand their relationship with, understand who they are, understand who God is, understand their relationship, and make progress in developing that relationship. And that may be within the context of my culture, my religion, whatever it is.
One more. Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur, he had like a vision. He said it was real, but it was a vision. And Inspector Hari shouted that actually I saw the Muslims, they have their own planet in the material world. I'm sure that you are aware of that.
No, maybe heard something, but I don't recall.
Yes, he said something like this, that Muslims, they have their own planet in material world, which is not nothing unusual, but so it's a question where they are going after.
Allah Loka.
It's not a spiritual planet, but it's... Anyway, just like it's not a question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned earlier that even if someone is free from death, they can come back. Come back. So how is that possible?
Just like if you get free from the Earth's atmosphere, you go up in one of those rockets, you'll get free from the Earth's atmosphere if you go high enough. But if you don't land on some planet, again you'll be attracted by the atmosphere of the Earth or some other planet and come back down. But if you land on a planet, then you're someplace. As long as you're floating in space, you're really nowhere. Or you're between somewhere and somewhere else. So you'll be attracted by the gravitational field of some sphere or other. But once you're someplace, you land on the moon or the sun, and you're there.
So, free from death, that doesn't mean that you're then it's not like free as in free, it's just as...
If you don't revive your eternal relationship as a servant of God, then you'll be subject to the gravity of the material energy. Even if you become free from death by coming to the spiritual platform, you won't be able to stay on the spiritual platform. You'll fall down. But once you've come to the Krishna planet, then material gravity will affect you.
Thank you.
Yes. One place or another.
Thank you. You did answer a question that I did not want to ask, but my question, but thank you anyway. But my question was more in relation to some, for example, things that, of course I'm not in a position to correct them, but there are things that kind of gets out of the way that Srila Prabhupada wanted. For example, sometimes we have an arati and we sing different songs than a Hare Krishna song, or there are, prayers that are not the Parampara prayers. And so how do we softly
What do you do when things are not the way they are? Well, either you start your own, or you put up with it, or you go to war with the people who are doing it. Give them a hard time. You have your options.
I don't like any of them.
Hmm?
I don't see any of them as being like that I could help.
Yeah, well then that's option, that's one of the options. Well, nothing I can do about it. I guess I have to live with it.
Mine's just
There's tons to dictions about it. I think that's the nature of the material world. There's a lot that we have to tolerate.
be tolerant and
Yeah, anyone who can't be tolerant is going to have a real hard time in this world.
thank you.
Okay, there's there's one over in the left corner, my left corner, all the way back there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You mentioned that this process is one of uncovering our spiritual identity, our understanding of who we are and what's our relationship with Krishna. Now, while we're applying ourselves to the process, we go through ups and downs. There are good days and there are days that are not so good. So how can we still remain convinced that we are making advancements?
Stick with it, you'll see.
Okay.
Like anything, like swimming, like music, like weightlifting, like archery, like anything. You stick with it and gradually, like taking pills, you have taking a course of penicillin for the first 3 days, nothing happens. But because you have confidence that the physician knows what he's talking about, you stick with it and you start to make progress. Or again, you're practicing music and it doesn't feel like, but some days you feel like you're making progress, some days you feel like you're not. But you know that if I stick with the process, I will move ahead. You see so many other people who've moved ahead by following the process. You have your own experience that by whatever progress you've made, it's by sticking with it. So you stick with it.
Thank you very much.
Practice.